UFC Fight Night, Tsarukyan v. Hooker, 10 a.m. start,
Fight
10 a.m.
day.
Eastern start. These could be all. These are all or nothing. These are either like incredible, amazing, or they're just absolute ass. So hopefully they're incredibly amazing. Do you realize after this we only have 2 left for the year? It's kind of weird. I know.
I hate that break. I really do.
We're wrapping up here for the year, so we're going to break down all the fights, tell you about our 2 best bet special that we have. 7-0 run in official best bets, so buckle up. Here we go. All right, we start off with, I know very little about these guys. You're going to hear us say NFO. No freaking opinion on this fight. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. Bulo against Denzel Freeman. Jim, here's what I know is both guys are wrestlers. They like to take guys down. Their fights don't last very long.
True.
The screams trips everybody up and goes over 1.5 at plus money. Other than that, NFO, no freaking opinion. What about you?
Oh, well, we got the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Okay.
How do you say his last name?
I really, truly I don't know. It looks like the L is crossed out.
Yeah,
those
are symbols that I've never seen before in my 41 years. So
I don't know how to do.
Can't help you there. Look, Freeman had a short stay in PFL. He's definitely fought the better level of competition. Am I rushing to the window to lay minus 192 on a debutant getting signed not off of Contender Series and told he's got to fly halfway across the world to have a fight? Hell no. Love your look on the over 1.5. Throws everybody off. It's plus money. After a 1.5, though, I think we could see somebody finish out of pure exhaustion. Yeah, no bets for me at the beginning of this fight. I will say Freeman just based off of the strength of competition.
All right, we move on to Saigid. Izagakhmaev against Nicholas Dalby. Well, sorry, guys.
Just so you guys know, Andy has the hard job. He's the one that's got to read the names.
Well, we're taking the easy.
Watch it.
Yeah, we're taking the easy road. Saigid versus Dalby. I'm coming to you first. What do you think?
So we see this story all the time. These fighters that are indestructible, and the chin gets cracked just once. Now, I think the wise thing to remember is not just that Randy Brown cracked his chin, but the rumor going into that fight was that Dalby got knocked out in training camp.
Oh, I remember this. Oh.
And that was why we bet Randy Brown on the live show, actually. That they said that, was it walkouts or I think when they were working out in the back or something, somehow it came up. And we said, oh, no, we're playing Randy Brown. And it did take a couple shots to put Dalby out, but you could tell that his gyro was gone on the first shot. Notoriously durable, but when this chin gets cracked at 40 years old, it takes way longer than a year to recover, and we're not even looking at a year. So it is Saigid. I don't think a method is necessary. You never know. It could just be a wrestle fest. But I am going to fade Dalby, yeah. 40 years old, chin's finally broken. I will bet against Dalby.
I'm going to bet against Saigid. He's had this big layoff, but it's not because of injury or anything. There was contracts with one championship. He couldn't really go anywhere. So he's finally been released. And what's been the theme this year as we close out 2025? It is fade the older fighter who appears to be on the way out. And what do we say in this sport when it goes? Well, it's any professional sport. When it goes quick. So, he lost a split to Fakhretdinov, and I know, he should have won that one. That was June of 2024, ladies and gentlemen. So we've seen him one time since then. He lost to Randy Brown, who just got tuned the F up in his last fight. So I think Dalby in his 40s, his cardio has been known to, no. I think this is Saigid takes him down. Look at the part of the world that they're in, and look who's I believe Islam and Habib are coming out with him. I believe that was what
they'll be there. They'll be.
Come on.
They'll be there.
Like, this is a setup if I've ever seen it. Dalby's takedown defense can struggle, so don't be surprised if Saigid comes in ready to kick ass after the layoff. And listen, 3-year layoff, it ain't that much of a layoff when you're training with Islam and Habib. This ain't a lazy 3 years, so I got Saigid as well. So, all right, we move on to Rolo Aliev or Aliev. I can never remember how they pronounce his name.
I believe is how you pronounce it.
I glean Aliev, but I watched a video, sadly, where they pronounce him Aliev, and I was like, now it's going to be in the back of my head. I think it's Aliev. Against Rock here. Interesting fight here. We got 10-0 versus 12-1. What do you make of this one?
First off, I'll preface my breakdown with saying I'm not betting this fight.
NFO?
NFL as far as bets go. I will say this.
NFO, not NFL, Jim.
NFO.
No friggin' opinion.
NFL videos on Friday, folks. I will say this, however. Aliev really should he should walk through this, but the 10-0 strength of competition, like, is it really good? Is it really anything special?
I think I thought you were asking me.
Well, Selecki, he's still one-dimensional to me. I think Aliev's going to take this guy down, and he's going to win this fight. He's probably going to win it by decision. I'm just really not impressed with Rock from what I've seen. Again, not crazy knockout power. Like, yeah, you have a submission game, but against this guy? Really? So I'll go with Aliev. Aliev by decision.
See, that's the thing with Aliev. He dominated Joe Selecki at Joe Selecki's game. That, if you're able to stuff takedowns and keep Selecki on the feet, okay, whatever. But no, he dominated Selecki on the ground. That's what Selecki's known for. So I know what you're saying about, like, what's his really good wins. You can't really point to one, but Rock, what's this guy's wins? And again, rear naked choke, is he going to do that to Aliev? I doubt it. So. You're right. They probably are pretty close on the ground, but I give the edge to Aliev. I would lean him for him to win, but is it something I'm backing up the truck to bet on? Absolutely not. Moving on to Ryan Loder and Ismail Naurdiev. What do you make of this one?
This is the American that I think is going to play spoiler here. Ryan Loder got the absolute shit beat out of him in his last fight. What I do like is that he's took some time. This is back in May. He's not rushing right back 2 months later to get a fight. And what we've seen from Yakhyaev is that he's got knockout power. Loder needs to get this fight to the ground. We all know that. I mean, you're not coming here for breaking news that Ryan Loder needs to wrestle. Naurdiev is going to throw whatever he can. He's going to throw the kitchen sink at you. And if he doesn't finish you, he's kind of done. So we're going to find out real quick if Ryan Loder learned his lesson in that last fight. We knew about, 30 seconds into that fight, we're like, oh, no, Ryan, don't try to be a striker.
Yeah.
Like, don't try to be a striker. And he was. He tried to be a striker, and he couldn't even get close to getting his wrestling game going. I think he's getting the wrestling game going here. I'm going to go with him. Sneaky look, Ryan Loder by submission. Ryan Loder by finish in this spot. Rounds 2 and 3, if he survives one, or even half or one, to be honest with you, he should pretty much melt Ismail at this point. Ismail was never a UFC quality fighter. He's here because of who he knows. I don't know what he knows, but he knows something on somebody to get back in here. Give me Loder.
Yeah, Naurdiev, I could not be more out on this guy. I mean, so he gets the gift of fighting Bruno Silva. And Bruno Silva was as checked out as you're ever going to see a UFC fighter. Silva was open about he was a mental mess and didn't know what to do and didn't want to be fighting. So Naurdiev beats him, and then you go to this, Park fight, and he just brutal eye poke on Park. Park, instead of taking the DQ, starts the fight up. We have a bet on Park, and we're sitting there going, no, Park. And Park's like, no, I got this guy. And Park melts him, dominates him with one eye. It was a horrible look for Naurdiev. So now I got questions. Gets dominated by a guy who got brutally eye poked that probably could have taken the DQ. You beat Bruno Silva, who basically quit at that point. And now I'm looking at a win in Brave with 2 losses before that. I'm with you that Loder, I'm stunned at this price. Loder gets him to the ground. I'm with you. I think you give Naurdiev a way out or a reason to quit. I think you will. What do you say about guys who are ready to quit? How quick are they to tap?
They stick their neck right in places they don't want to be.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind a finishing prop on Loder. You're going to get great plus money on that. I mean, at time recording this, Loder's the underdog, which I just don't understand. I guess it's maybe, they're over there. Naurdiev, judges. What if it doesn't see the judges? Not much you can do about that. So, Loder will be the pick here. All right, Bezgat. Almakhan versus Topuria. Not that Topuria. The other one, the 6-1 Topuria. Jim, what do you think?
This fight has trap written all over it. All over it. This is the fight that people just can't let pass by them without having a bet on it. Like the FOMO gets real in this fight. Like I have to bet on a Topuria. Let's go to we'll go to Pretoria first. That's fine. That works for me.
It's been a long day for Jim. He just called him Pretoria.
Pretoria. It's been a very long day, folks.
I know it has.
So he beats Colby Thickness, but let's call a spade. Colby Thickness is not a UFC level fighter. Okay. He's a regional Australian guy that they brought in to lose. That's what he is.
He's got a UFC win. Sorry, even I couldn't say it with a straight face.
They threw him the one guy he could beat. Let's not go there, Andy.
Jim said, yeah.
Yeah, and so what do you do with a guy that you're not interested? You throw him to the marketing machine of Topuria. I don't know, man. I'm looking at Bekzat. And is this a situation where the guy takes the short notice fight against Umar and like we think too highly of him because he went the distance when it was clearly obvious in that fight that Umar was like, I'm not hurting this guy. I'm going to wrestle him. We've trained together. He saved my fight. This was a thank you by Umar because Umar could have ended this fight. He chose not to. He gets the knockout over Brad Katona, but I think that's more of a sign that Brad is kind of reaching his expiration date than Bekzat winning. I'll go with Bekzat because I don't believe in the whole brother system. There's always an A and B brother, possibly at different points in their careers. So I'm going to fade Topuria. I think he's going to take a lot of the public money because of his last name. So give me Bekzat for the win here. I'm going to say by decision, though. Let's see decision in this one.
Topuria, he spent. What's the story? He spent a lot of time, helping train with his brother and such. So now he's like, it's my time to come out and get some fights in. And he did. He looked fine against Colby Thickness. It was a UFC fight. It was Colby Thickness is better than these guys that he has been fighting. So give him that. Showed good cardio. We'll say that. Takedowns, he was able to get a few. Striking was And remember, they brought in Bekzat because I believe Bekzat had previously, I don't know, for some reason, he fought in the same league as Umar or something. So they bring him in, and he kind of knew Umar, and they wrestled around. And okay, he didn't get finished, but he was at least competitive. And I don't know, I was impressed. Katona doesn't get knocked out. I know what you're saying; it could be the end, but Katona doesn't get knocked out. He did something stupid here. I'm with you. If you're looking for some guys to try and fade, Bekzat could land a pretty good shot. What if Topuria? What if Colby Thickness really isn't that good, and Topuria got a pretty good layup? And what if your brother theory is correct? So I'll go with you on Bekzat. I'm certainly not betting it, but for purposes of this video, we'll go with that. So we mentioned a 7-0 run in UFC. Yeah, clean sweep, and it was one of the best live shows of the entire year last week. I mean, we could not miss. So we're running it back. We got 2 plays up for this week, hoping to make it a 9-0 run. So join us. UFC the last 3 or 4 weeks has just been absolutely fantastic. Month of November in all sports has been really good. So when you're running hot, we like to really try and jump on these streaks. So UFC Gold Pack, that's up at WagerTalk, wt.buzz/AL. We also have our NFL Week 12 pack that is up. So if you're interested in some NFL plays, those are up. You get all of our plays from Thursday all the way through Monday Night Football. But really, we're focusing on UFC. That's been one of the things that's been working really, really well for us. Horiguchi versus Tajir. Ulanbekov. What do you make of this fight?
Well, Horiguchi, another guy that's been around forever, and you're shocked when you look at his age. You're like, how's this guy not 45? 39 pro fights? How's he not 45? We're only 35? Just
when did he
stunning.
start?
Stunning.
2010.
Look at some of the names on here. It's what? Demetrius Johnson's on here. I mean, like, we're going way back with a lot of these guys.
Cop?
Yeah, he fought Cop 2017.
In Risen.
Jeez. It's wild. So he gets to the UFC. I don't understand this number on Tagir. To me, this is Tagir in a wash. We have the Asian fighter traveling to Qatar theory here with Tagir. We have it's the home cooking. It's the home cooking. Now, I know Tagir has his faults, but he fights long. I think that's something that he could struggle with. To me, he really just doesn't – he can't get caught letting Horiguchi blitz in. If he can just not let him blitz in, I think this is going to be Tagir by a decision. He banks 2 rounds, and then we can do something with Horiguchi after. I don't know how you market him. This really just seems like a get him in here. He's 35, get a fight, and then we'll see how – what he's signed, probably a 3-fight deal. Maybe he gets 2 more, try to get him a win, but – give him Tagir on Tagir's home turf? Yeah, I'll take Tagir.
Fade the Asian from going to Qatar theory. Yeah, Tagir's just one of these guys. He's just a master at winning rounds. Where it's like, close round. Oh, takedown with 45 seconds left to cement the round. Oh, close round. Oh, grapples, holds him up against the fence. Did it against Maxim. Did it against Clayton Carpenter. Cody Durden does get the finish. Nate Maness does get the finish. He's got some cardio issues, that's the worry, but he just knows how to manage them. He just knows how to not overextend himself. There's a long list of fighters that just barely overextend themselves. He just barely underextends himself to where, he manages it. I'm with you. Tagir by decision is at this point in Tagir's career. I feel like you're betting him by decision. Cody Durden, that was a couple years ago here. So Clayton Carpenter by decision, Maxim by decision. I feel like fight goes the distance, and Tagir fights is a pretty good way to operate. So, fight that probably doesn't go the distance. Yakhyaev against Rafael Cerqueira. I saw this fight and I was like, oh my gosh, we get to make money against Cerqueira again, and the books are like, no, you don't. This thing's opened at minus 1,000. We know Yakhyaev should win. Even round 1 is like minus 160. Is there anything we can do with this fight, Jim?
Yeah, you can play round 1.
You like round 1, huh?
Cerqueira is horrible. He's horrible.
He's one of the worst I've seen in UFC. He
One
really
of the
is.
worst. One of the absolute worst. And what we really found out was how not good Julius Walker is in that fight. Julius Walker gassed out in that fight. He got the win, but he got tired in the second round and couldn't get him out of there. This guy's going up against a 7-0, just fucking monster marathon, just violence going to be coming forward. He's not going to take a step backward. He's not going to give Cerqueira any chances to breathe. This fight is ending in round 1 with Cerqueira on his back, looking up at the stars. I don't know if they give him another fight, but if they do, we can thank the gambling gods because we will bet against Cerqueira again against whoever they put in front of him. It does not matter. He is one that, we have these guys, just take a break for a quick second, we have these guys that we don't realize how good they were to bet against till they're gone, and we don't want to miss out on that. When you say to yourself, this could be the last time that I get to fade this guy, you can't pass that spot up. You just absolutely can't. So yes, I will play round 1 because this is not seeing round 2 in my opinion. The under 1.5 is what, minus 340, 315,
does tell
somewhere
you a
in
lot.
that realm. It tells you the story. And I bet you it will take money before the fight starts. And what do we always say? Follow the money. Follow the money.
All right, I'll probably tell you round one on this one. Yeah, it's Cerqueira. He's really awful. Here's the thing, though. We did know how bad Cerqueira was. There were some guys we did miss out on. We knew how bad this guy was. So I feel like there's a lot of hype around Luke Riley. He is 11-0. He faces Bogdan Grad. What's your take on this fight?
I think you're insane if you're betting on an 11-0 Cage Warriors fighter making their debut. Luke Riley has all the pedigree. He has the record. He has the longevity of his MMA career. He's got everything that says, I want to bet on this guy. He's going up against Bogdan Grad, who's been very disappointing. However, there's no way I am betting on an undefeated Cage Warriors fighter making their debut in Qatar against a UFC and MMA veteran like Bogdan Grad. On top of all of this, we have messed up athletic commissions. I don't trust the athletic commission in Qatar to save my life. No way. I'm not betting this fight. Riley should win, but it's not getting a penny of my money. I need to see what Luke Riley really is against UFC level competition.
I lean the underdog too here with Bogdan Grad. He's been disappointing. He got nuked by Tom Nolan. He goes out, gets some wins. This fight against Michael Aswell, don't forget, this was a really, really good fight. It was with the weird gloves where you couldn't really finish anybody. Give him credit. He goes in. Lucas Alexander gets the win. Naimov is just, I'm not going to fault him for losing to Naimov. This is just kind of what Naimov does, where he just ekes out these wins. Even his loss to Felipe Lima, he was doing fine and just slipped off the back and right into a Felipe Lima choke. So I don't really fault him to that too much. I think Bogdan Grad can take him down. And I know Riley's all gas, no brakes, and he's got a bunch of finishes. And sure, he could, tire out Grad or get the finish. But don't be surprised if Grad takes him down and really frustrates him and takes him out of his game and banks a couple of rounds. I'm not laying money on Riley, and I actually think Bogdan Grad, if you're looking for underdogs, I think you do way worse on this card. So Grad will be the pick here. Alex Perez versus Asu Almabayev. Jim, there are quite a few theories going on in this fight. I count 3 of them that point us in one direction. What do you think?
3 theories pre-fight. We have no idea what we're going to get during walkouts. What's the over-under on theories leading into this fight?
Well, I have 3. I have 3 that I can tell you right now.
We set the line at 3.5. 3.5.
Okay, 3.5. All right.
So we could see a knee
Close.
sleeve walking out to the ring. We could
True.
see a bad haircut.
Okay.
We could see shorts not fitting. We could see all kinds of fun with this fight. Just Perez. Let's start with Perez here. Here's the big elephant in the room. He fights Tatsuro Taira. Forget about everything else that he did before the long injury history. He fights Taira, and he has a severe knee injury to the point where it kept him out of the cage. Okay? They book him the following year with Steve Erceg, and he's got to pull out again. I've heard mixed things, that it was the knee injury that kept him out or that he broke his hand. I can't confirm either way. There's multiple stories on multiple sites of why that Erceg fight was canceled, but one way or another, it was an injury on the Perez side. If it is the knee, oh my gosh, are we backing up the Brinks truck for a zoo? If it's the hand, well, let's think about this as well. How does he win this fight? By striking. Who says that hand is healed? If you break your hand in August, now we're looking at November, that's a rough healing process. How much are you hitting pads? Are you able to grapple? We could see one shot on the top of Azu's head that breaks that hand again. Now you got a one-armed fighter, right? Strikes can only come from one way, and I don't believe he's out wrestling Azu Almabayev. I absolutely love Azu Almabayev because you know what you're going to get from him. Every fight, you know exactly what you're going to get. He's going to wrestle. He's going to come forward. The cardio is going to hold up for 3 rounds. He's tough. He moves quickly on the ground with his transitions. Beautiful control. This loss to Cape, that is a step-up learning moment. Cape was just too much for him. Way too much. The speed was too much. I don't think we're going to have that problem with Perez. I love Azu. I know he's a decision machine. I am not going to be surprised if Azu is locking up a near rear naked choke on Alex Perez, and we come to find out that knee is just done. Dare I say we're waiting any minute for the Alex Perez R word to come out, just saying. With all those berries that he's selling, I don't think he really has to fly to Qatar to fight anymore. So I think he's doing this for fun, but the injuries, man. Let's go Azu Almabayev for the win.
Yeah, you mentioned the two theories. You have side hustle theory, his berry business. I saw an interview with him earlier this week, and again, he couldn't help but promote his berry business. So you have side hustle theory, you have coming off of knee surgery theory, and then you have also Almabayev wearing the fancy hat theory. So we have three theories in play here. I think you covered it. Perez is probably going to be the better striker, but on the ground, it's not even that close. It's Almabayev, and that's where I think Almabayev gets him eventually. And I always say this about the knee injuries. It's not that big of a deal. Well, I mean, it's a big deal. It affects you more on the ground than it does on the feet. Your movement on the feet can still be there. Once you get on the ground and your knee isn't as flexible or as powerful as it once was, just that little percentage that isn't operating the way it was, it can prevent you from getting out of holds, or it can prevent you from reversing. Whenever I see a knee injury and I see a guy go to the ground, I go, well, that's where he's most vulnerable at. So Almabayev on the ground gets the win. Spivac, Gaziev. I've had a great read on Gaziev. Like, absolutely fantastic read on Gaziev since he entered UFC. And I'm not about to quit now. Coming to you first, but I know where I'm going in this one.
Well, first of all, it's a Spivac fight. So what do? We somehow make money on fight not to go the distance. That's where we start off. I'm not going to count Acosta because that's what Acosta does. If he's not knocking out an adrenaline-dumped Ante D'Elia. But it's just what Spivac does. He gets finished or he finishes you. Shamil, more of the same, right? So where is this fight going to take place? That's my big question.
Qatar.
Are we going to engage in grappling, or is Shamil going to be the one that wants to keep this on the feet? Because I am not a fan of Sergey's striking, especially his striking defense. And Shamil is a big guy who hits hard. Questions on the cardio tank for both guys. I would hope that this doesn't turn into one of those heavyweight fights where you're like, oh, God, we got 3 rounds of this. So that's the one part keeping me off of it as far as making it a big play. But I will try to play fight doesn't go in some fashion. And I am on Shamil. I think the ship has sailed on Sergey. If he was going to make his run towards the title, he would have done it already. Shamil started so late in life, never a goal of getting to a title. But Sergey's been around a while, and we've been waiting for this evolution to be a complete MMA fighter, and it's just never came. It's never got here. You know, little improvements here or there, but could you say that anybody's afraid of Sergey Spivac on the feet in this division? Probably not. So, give me Shamil. Fight doesn't go. Best bet.
Spivac really could be looking at 4 losses in a row here. Don't forget this armbar from Topuria. Topuria was on top of him and in a dominant position. So, yeah, both guys' cardio is an issue. My issue is Spivac's cardio on the feet. We talk about this a lot. If you're a wrestler and that's what you train for, you got good cardio on the ground, and then for some reason on the cardio on the feet is different. Same thing. You get a striker who can stick and move all day long. You get them on the ground, and then they get exhausted. And Spivac on the feet gets exhausted. We saw this against Cyril Gane. Jailton Almeida makes, quick work of him. And, I mean, not for nothing. I mean, Jailton Almeida, makes quick work of Romanov, okay, but it lost to Curtis Blades. And then that horrific performance against Volkov. So how much are we, is that loss aging really even worse? I don't know.
It's aging worse than it was at the time, for sure.
Yeah. So Gaziev comes off of a good winning contender series, but this guy beat was an absolute bum. But then he gets a really good matchup against Martin Badai and just smokes him. Takes a 5-round fight against Rosenstrike on last chance notice. So your second fight, you're going up against a guy who's trained for 5 rounds, and I still hear people giving him shit for like gassing out. And I'm sorry, I'm just not there yet. Dante O'Mays, not finishing Dante O'Mays is one thing, but he takes Dante O'Mays down, dominates him. And then he does exactly what we said he was going to do. He's going to knock out Thomas Peterson because his striking is much better. Yeah, Gaziev can wrestle. I don't think Spivac's takedowns are going to be automatically be there. And if Spivac doesn't get the takedown, oh, look out. It's Gaziev on the feet by knockout. So I have Gaziev by finish. Look at round 2. Spivac probably survives round 1. Even if Spivac does get him down and doesn't finish him, I think he's more tired than Gaziev is. So I think people are putting way too much in this loss against Rose. It drives me nuts when you don't put context around some of these things. Like, this guy wasn't ready to fight, and he looked good in round 1. It's like, oh, I got tired. I got a bunch more rounds to go. Like, fine. I'm glad people can't put that in context because I think it gives us a little bit of an advantage. But, yeah, Gaziev by finish in this one for sure. Jack Hermansson and Orolbai. Jack Hermansson moving down in weight. And Jim, you see this as a red flag.
This is a major red flag. Major red flag. Because Jack wasn't undersized. I don't understand this move down. First of all, he's an aging fighter moving down in weight as opposed to up in weight. Maybe it's a lifestyle change. Maybe he feels better at that weight. But I just don't understand it. Like, okay, so you got knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez. Gregory Rodriguez is built like a skyscraper. He's going to dwarf a lot of people. You had no problem with Joe Pyfer, who was a big guy. You beat him over 3. We're able to take him down. Cardio held up. You were all good. So why are we making this big move? And then you look at the measurables of these two guys. He's not that much bigger than Orolbai. So I think we're going to get a very drained Jack Hermansson. And if Jack can't be the Joker and push through all this stress like he always has been able to, Jack Hermansson fights are ugly. I don't know if he's going to be able to fight the same way, and especially not against Orolbai, who has shown that you need to off this guy to get him out of there. His eye could be hanging out, swollen shut, bleeding from his ear, and he's going to continue to fight forward. So I think this is a recipe for disaster for Jack. I've just been a fan of everything that Orolbai has done. He's one of my favorite fighters to bet on. Again, another guy that you know what you're going to get. You know he's tough. He's going to fight through. I just see Orolbai ending up on top and it not going well for Jack Hermansson on the ground.
Had a good read on Jack Hermansson. Don't forget, this Pyfer fight was 5. Mm-hmm. That was when I was like, Hermansson's going to get his ass kicked early. He's just got to survive, and Pyfer will tire. And boy, has that prediction aged very nicely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and other than that, Jack gets finished, by Delete in that weird ass fight. Wasn't that the calf slicer thing? But that was 2022,
and it's another one that didn't age well.
Yeah.
Delete looks pretty bad right about now.
Yeah. So, loses Strickland by split, but now we're getting here where he was getting his ass kicked until Pyfer just tired. Let's face it, Pyfer doesn't tire out. Hermansson gets finished. So, we predicted Rodriguez was going to, or at least I predicted Rodriguez was going to finish him. I actually think the move down is I'm sick of getting hit by these guys. And not saying he's aged the way that some of these other guys that we've predicted, but there's a 37-year-old with 33 professional fights who doesn't fight very often. And now, look at this. So 2024 Pyfer. You got to go back to 2022 where he fights Rome Delidze in December, but Chris Curtis in July, and Strickland in February. Then Shabazian in 2021, Vittori 2020. This seems like a pretty quick turnaround for him in his career arc after getting knocked out in the first round. Going from June to November, I don't know. Seems like they're cramming one in here at the last second. I'm with you. Orolbai, he's going to be a little bit smaller. It'll be interesting to see how Jack kind of inflates after weigh-ins. Maybe he does end up, a little bit bigger. But yeah, Orolbai, I like his wrestling. He was relentless with the wrestling against Yakhyaev, and this war against Rebecki was just two guys hitting each other in the face, and that's not really what Hermansson does. It's jab from the outside, jab from the outside. So I don't think Hermansson's got the big finishing power. I think Orolbai. You're right. Orolbai will walk through punches to get the takedown, and if Jack is older and doesn't quite have the stamina to keep up anymore, then Orolbai is gonna get there. So Oezdemir and Alonzo Menifield. Come on the main card. What are we doing here? What do you think about this one?
I could have a conversation with any of you, and you could tell me a bet that you have for this fight, and I could say, yeah, that could happen. Like everything, everything is in play. I'm not even going to attempt to try to predict how this is going to go, except that you can't try to fade a fighter with another fighter that you want to fade. That's all I'll say. So if you have a very strong opinion on this fight world out there, I encourage you to just look at both sides and make sure that your opinion is valid enough that you want to put your money on either of these guys. Because personally, I don't want to put my money on anybody. For the sake of the video, I will pick Oezdemir. I'm not confident in it. I'm not betting it, and you shouldn't either. Andy, go right ahead.
Yeah, NFO, no freaking opinion. This is a guy that went the distance against Krylov. Do you know how hard that is?
You got to try to not hit him. You got to tell him, hey, I'm going to jab. Move your head. Move your head.
Yeah. And then he does get a finish against Gusov and Walker, but then loses to Carlos Olberg. And then you got Alonzo Menifield. I think you could make the case for Menifield at the price, because Menifield can push him up against Vince Hold'em there and make it look really bad. Are they going to reward that over there? No, of course not. So, no, this is a complete stay away. We move on because this fight is absolutely bonkers and impossible to predict. All right, we got the co-main and the main, then we're going to do the parlay buster and the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Belal Muhammad, Ian Garry, Jim. Are we fading Belal Muhammad? Does he fit into the fade, the old fighter, or does he still have something left?
Not only does he fit into the fade, the old fighter, he also fits into the used-to-be champion fighter. That's another one.
This one's been working real good.
It has
been working real good for us.
It's really, really hard to get back to the top, even back to being relevant. Sometimes we see these guys just take a landslide down to like number 10 ranked. You know, they're fighting up-and-comers. 37 years old for Belal. Let's just say there's been questions about Belal's training methods throughout the years. We've seen some pictures. So that's going to be interesting. When he won the title, that was the one it was biggest in question, I believe. So here's my questions for Belal. What's your plan to cut the distance, Belal? What's your plan in the striking, Belal? What takedowns other than a sloppy single leg from far away, what other way are you going to get him down, Belal? Are you going to keep your hands up on exit, Belal? Are you going to try your Philly shell striking defense against a sniper like Ian Garry, Belal? As you can tell where I'm leaning with this one. I really don't think there's anything on the Belal side that can get me to a bet on him. I think this is Machado Garry. And I will even say this is possibly a Garry finish. I just cannot see how Belal Muhammad does anything to Ian Garry at this point. It's most likely Garry by decision. But Gary's got to make a statement with this fight, especially after Michael Morales and Carlos Prates made huge statements last weekend. If Garry wants this title shot, he's got to perform and show out. He's got to make this look easy to leapfrog both of those guys. I know that Prates has a win over Garry, but let's face facts, guys. Title shots don't come off rankings. They come off money. Money makes title shots.
Gary's got the win over Prates.
Or Gary's got the win over Prates. That's what I meant, yes. So
I
Garry.
think asking Ian Garry to get a finish that's just not what he does, man. Like he's methodical, he has a game plan, and he just doesn't put himself in danger. And Bilal, while I agree with you, this fits the theory of the guy that used to be champion and on his way out. His Leon Edwards win didn't age well. Gilbert Burns win was not age well. Knocking out Sean Brady, this is now looking really interesting because how bad does this one look for Sean Brady? And then the loss to Jack doesn't look good. So I have Garry by decision. I agree. It's just snipe, use the reach, and Gary's got good takedown defense. He looked pretty good against Shavkat. And, remember, Garry was, these guys, Prates and Shavkat, I don't know if are training partners, but Garry trains with Prates and Shavkat. That was kind of one of the.
With both, yeah.
Yeah, and him and Prates apparently were BFFs. So, I thought that fight looked good for Garry, but he's just too mechanical and he's just too good. His fighting style is too mature. He's gotten better and better and better, and I'm not sure what Bilal's path to victory is. Okay, what if he does come out and all of a sudden tries to wrestle? We haven't seen it for a while, and Gary's not going to go for that. Gary's not a guy you can just pick up and dump and keep doing it. So I have Garry in a really, really boring fight that everyone is going to hate. And they're really going to hate, but they're going to be forced to give the unanimous decision to Ian Garry. So, all right, Tsarukyan and Dan Hooker. Fighting it over in Qatar, that guy in the main event's last name was Hooker. I always get a kick out of that one. So, if you could do us a favor, guys, hit the like button before we break down the main event. Leave us a comment. Tell us what your best bet is on the card. Tell us if you agree, disagree with anything you've seen on the video. But, Jim, coming to you for Tsarukyan and Hooker.
This is the live bet spot of the card. It should be Tsarukyan. I don't think there's any debate that it 100% should be Arman. However, Dan Hardy just finds a way to make fights nasty. If they get out of the first round.
Just stop.
What'd I do? I said Dan Hardy, didn't I?
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to know how long of a day Jim had.
I got home 5 minutes ago.
Just give him a break.
Give me a break. Dan Hooker always makes fights ugly. Dan Hardy doesn't. If this fight gets out of round 2 and Hooker gets a chance to start on the feet, man, I don't know. There's something about it. Now, why does the UFC absolutely hates Dan Hooker? First of all, I don't know what he did to get everybody so mad. Maybe the outspokenness, the issues with the Mark Hunt lawsuit where he spoke out as well. It's just, if this is on the feet, Dan Hooker's live. That's all I'm going to say. It's live. But he's going to have to survive the ass-kicking that Joel Alvarez couldn't survive against Tsarukyan. So it's a Hooker fight. It's going to be bloody. Somebody's going to be beat to hell. He'll probably be in the hospital after win, lose, or draw. I am betting this fight live. I am letting the first round go. And if I see any thought that Tsarukyan is going to tire or he can't hang on the feet and can't get Hooker down consistently, I am live betting Dan Hooker. This is a level of violence that Arman has never seen. I know that, Hooker's fought a wrestler in Gamrot. Now, I'm not saying Gamrot's the same level as Arman, but he's fought wrestlers. Arman's not fought a guy who brings this level of chaos and violence into the cage yet. He just flat out hasn't. So, live bet spot for me, no pre-fight bet.
I'm with you. This line is crazy. Like, this is a crazy line. Minus 500 on Tsarukyan. This was a split decision against Oliveira. Knocking out Dariush. How's that looking? Joaquim Silva, who he was really struggling against, and loses to Gamrot. It beats Damir Ismagulov. I think we're overrating here a little bit like Tsarukyan's. I thought he looked best against Joel Alvarez. To be honest with you, I thought that was when he looked his absolute best. But you're right; these guys don't really fight like Dan Hooker. Not at Dan Hooker's level. I mean, Dan Hooker. This is a guy that was beat up, bloodied in between the last 2 rounds, and his corners try to give him advice, and he just looks up and starts laughing and says, "I love this shit," and goes out and wins the fight. So he just makes you're right, he dirties these fights up, he makes them really, really weird, and can Tsarukyan deal with that? So you're right. I'm more gonna wait till round 3 and see what's going on here, but seen Tsarukyan kind of slow down here a little bit, and if Hooker can make him work, that's all Dan Hooker has to do, make him work in the first. You can drop the first 2 rounds, because Dan Hooker can finish this guy late, because Tsarukyan can get slow enough where he can get popped. So, again, I'm with you 100% that it's a live betting spot. Pre-flop, I'm not going to bet Dan Hooker, because if Tsarukyan takes him down and just dog walks him, I'll feel like an idiot, but you bet Tsarukyan, and then all of a sudden you see Tsarukyan can't get the takedown in round 3, and Hooker's laughing like the absolute psychopath that he is. Then I think you're a little worried. So let's stay away pre-fight, and then we'll see if we can live bet. So weird breakdown video, guys. I know
Weird
it's
fights.
weird fights, very, very strange. So all right, let's do the parlay buster and the woulda, coulda, shoulda real quick. One more time, guys. We have our UFC Gold Pack that's up. We've hit our last 7 official UFC best bets. We only got 2 that we really like, but we do love them. Already bet these with our own money. Lines are holding strong. Partner up with us. Let's keep building those bankrolls. All right, Parlay Buster. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm going to stay right there in the main event. I'll make this simple.
It's a good one.
Laying this number on Tsarukyan. Let's also keep in mind Tsarukyan couldn't get to the cage his last fight. So, there's always seems to be shenanigans around this guy as well. So let's just hold tight on that. But, yeah, this line against a vet like Hooker, yeah, and plus it's the last fight of the night. Everything, the public always parlays everything they like with the main event because it's the best hedge spot, right? So I think a lot of parlays are going to end with Thorman.
Yeah, there's some interesting parlay spots. I'll go with Luke Riley. He just feels like that sexy, prospect. Got high hopes for him, and Bogdan Grad just drags him down and boringly wins a couple rounds. So I'll go Luke Riley as my parlay buster. All right, woulda, coulda, shoulda. What fight at the end are we going to regret not going big on?
Abdul Rahman in round 1 against Rafael Cerqueira, one of the worst fighters we've ever seen. It's terrifying to bet a round 1. Not this time for me. I will. We talked about this a lot on Contender Series. You do your fight breakdown, right? And you're like, I don't know if I like it. And then you watch the fighters walk to the cage, and it's like, how much money can I put on round 1? I think this is going to be the same situation. He's going to walk out to the cage with the crowd losing their mind. And Cerqueira's going to look in there like a deer in the headlights. Just get smoked. So give me him in round 1. What do you say, minus 160, right?
Something like that.
It's going to look
you
like
want to
bargain.
go KO. Yeah. So, all right, Yakhyaev, round 1. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. I go to Gaziev, beating up Sergey Spivac. And then sitting here going, well, he did lose to Rosenstrike. He's going to hear that the rest of his career. Meanwhile, he's just nuking guys. Spivac gasses out in the first round. Gaziev is not. Like Spivac tries the wrestling and it doesn't go well. Gaziev is just kind of laughing. And then round 2 starts and it's obvious Spivac can't get a takedown. Gaziev pushes him up against the fence, works the clinch, knocks him out. Gaziev by KO. Or just Gaziev inside the distance is my woulda, coulda, shoulda. So, all right, that's gonna do it for us. I will be live, Jim. Can't do day shows.
There'll be an appearance when the baby goes down for a nap. There'll be an appearance. There you go.
Okay, so Jim will join us. I will have a taste test. We'll be doing it. Starts at 10 a.m. on the Winning in the Shadows YouTube channel. So thank you so much for joining us. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment below. Tell us who you like this weekend. Good luck on your bets. We'll see everyone later. Take care.
Good luck, guys.